Lucilia Addison,
Okay. So here at VOA, what's your job title?
Dementia Project Manager.
Okay. Good. So today we're actually focusing on dementia and learning more about this disease. And I just want to ask you, what are when it comes to dementia, like what are some of your key focuses that you do for your job?
Education,
Mm-hmm.
communication.
Okay.
Because a lot of people, especially in the black community or people of color, they shun medical treatment. They don't want to talk about their loved ones using their memory. They just call them senile or they're having a lapse in memory without really getting checked in an actual medical term. So, my job, I specifically focus around brain health, dementia, Alzheimer's. Dementia in itself is just a general term, but dementia is a neurocognitive disorder that affects a person's memory, their thinking, their daily living. And I can say what got me into this role was my family. My brother passed away from it. He had frontal temporal dementia, and he could no longer speak. He could no longer care for himself. My mother has it now. My father has early stages. So it's near and dear to my heart to talk about it. My family, they still don't want to talk about it as much as they need to. Every family needs to be aware that dementia is not a normal process of aging. People could be 90 years old and be just as alert as I am at 65, but it's a disorder that affects the brain. There's no cure for it, but you can do preventative measures. We talk about, um, we have a Wellness Wednesday that we talk about exercise, the importance of exercise. We talk about the importance of nutrition, watching what we put into our bodies. Because what we eat affects so much, not just in our brain, but our bodies. We got to stop the obesity. We have to learn to eat healthy foods that stimulates our mind. We talk about being there for one another. So when someone's going through, we have support. We talk about, I do a lot of teaching on, as I said, on brain health, but we have spiritual health. Because when you're talking about dementia and being a caregiver, it takes a lot out of you. As a child of parents with dementia, it's very challenging because the person that you see is no longer the person that you know. I mean, you see them, she looks like mom, she sounds like dad, but when you talk with them, they don't even know who you are. So it's a challenge, and you need that spiritual uplift to keep you going and pushing forward for their sake. It's not for you, it's for them, for your loved ones. So I look forward to every day working at VOA in this capacity because I had previously worked in finance, and the Lord drew me into this area in November of 2012 of 2022. So I've been here not quite a year, but I continue to learn.
Common types of dementia.
I mentioned frontal temporal dementia. Then there's something called Lewy body dementia, and there's another one, but the name escapes me. Although there's different titles,
Mm-hmm.
the effects are different for every person. As I said, I believe my brother was not, as far as I know, he wasn't diagnosed with it. But I believe through the education I've received here that he had frontal temporal. It was more rapid. It affected his body movement. He wasn't able to take care of himself anymore, like I said. So everyone has something different. My mother, I think she has bits and pieces of all of it. But she has what's called sundown syndrome. With Lewy bodies, it contributes sundown syndrome with that particular type of dementia. Sundown syndrome, when the sun goes down and it sets, their whole attitude changes. So what we did for my mother, we started closing the blinds early so she would never know the transition from day to night. It helps a little, but not all the way. But there is medication they can take to help.
So, as far as like the work on just on a day to day basis, like what do you do to? I heard you say you support the caregivers. What are
Yes.
some support that you give to
We
the
have Maria Thomas on board, and
caregivers?
she's the direct caregiver support person. She makes sure if there's any referrals that need to be made in the community, she can make it. If they have, if I get a call and someone needs help with their loved ones, I refer the call to her. Um, I return phone calls that people just call online and want more information about brain health. I set out in the community appointments where we can go and do outreach and teach about brain health, teach about Alzheimer's and dementia and every facet of that and what that means. So that's what I routinely do. That's my primary job, is to coordinate outreach activities, which means our community health workers go out into the community and we do blood pressure checks, we do memory screenings. We have a nurse on staff, and when she's able to be with us, she does glucose checks and cholesterol checks. So we're taking care of the body to help the brain.
Okay, so as far as like any events or anything, is there anything coming up?
We produce a calendar. It's
Okay.
right now it's from July through December.
Okay.
I don't know if it's online or not, but we share within our group of caregivers.
Okay.
And we recently had a health fair
Mhm.
this past Saturday, and those in the community were able to come. And at the health fair, I talked about brain health. We had our nurse that was there that talked about Ask a Nurse.
Okay.
Ask a Nurse is another function that we do where she's on either on Zoom or in person, and anyone that has any medical questions can ask her.
All right. Well, this is some really good information. A lot of information in short amount of
Yeah.
time that is very, very, very useful for the community. So I want to say I appreciate you.
Oh,
And I'm
thank
sure
you.
the community appreciates you. Thank you for
It's
your
my
time.
honor to just be able to be here and be a part of this. So we're doing good work. We just have to make sure that those in the community are aware of who we are and what we do.